Hello again. So obviously we're going to be talking about Justin and Selena today. All right, this is another relationship one. So as with the Courtney and Scott one, I'm not going to go into their histories as individuals. I'm just going to talk about their relationship. But if you do later want a series on either of them as individuals, I can definitely do that. Okay, so first of all, let me tell y'all their birth charts. So Justin is a Pisces Sun, Libra Moon, Scorpio Rising, and then Aquarius Mercury, Pisces Venus, and Aquarius Mars. That is a lot of air and water. Are you okay, Justin? Are you okay? Selena, on the other hand, is a Cancer Sun, Aries Moon, Leo Rising, Leo Mercury, Leo Venus, and a Taurus Mars. So we start our story in 2009. Now, not really anything happened in 2009, except that Justin kept saying that he thought that Selena was really pretty. She's really cute. She's my celebrity crush. We got the picture. But then New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2009, Justin sang One Less Lonely Girl. And guess who gets to be the one less lonely girl? Selena. Very cute. I can feel my 13-year-old self getting butterflies just watching that. However, there was really no hope because there were still rumors that Selena and Nick Jonas were going to get back together. We found out though when she played the San Antonio Rodeo that they were probably done because she introduced a song that she wrote about him but said this is in the past. From then on, we keep getting interviews from both of them where they're calling the other one cute, saying they have a crush, whatever. For example, on February 16th of 2010, Selena did 2 radio interviews, one with Kid Craddock where she said that she did think Justin Bieber was cute, but she felt like a cougar. They're only 2 years apart. And another one where a fan called in and said that people at their school thought that they were dating, and she said, I love that. I kind of wish we were. No, he's 15, so I'd be a cougar, so that wouldn't be right. But then she did say that Justin can call her in 3 years, but it's gonna be less than 3 years. A few days later, they were both in New York doing concerts, and there was rumors that they might make appearances at each other's events to do a duet. And she said, I love Justin. When he first started to come over from Canada, his manager contacted me, and he just said that he would like to meet me, and he was just such a good kid. And I feel like a big sister now because I want to protect him. Now he's just become one of my good friends. Always weird to call someone a kid, and then you end up dating them. But they're also only 2 years apart, so kind of weird to call him a kid anyways because he's not that much younger than her. So March through September of 2010, we're really only, we're really only still getting hints that they might be together. For example, she shows up to his birthday party where they take these cute little photos. They see each other at events. They're tweeting at each other. They're clearly friends. Friends. And then in September, the fated Ellen appearance where Selena calls him little.
Oh, brother. You're a cute couple, I'm just saying. Thanks.
And yes, that will absolutely come back to haunt her. So then a couple months later, Justin goes on the Ellen show in November and he's talking about dating too. Also, I should have let y'all know in the first one, but I'm letting you know now. These next few videos are going to be peak 2010 cringe. So I'm giving you forewarning.
Where can you go to have a date? Like a football game or something like that?
Well,
could you go like to just a regular football game?
games and stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be weird to go to a football game? Nobody bothers you?
Yeah, it was weird. No one just bothered me at all.
Just you? And
yeah.
Who'd you go with?
Oh, well, I went with Jaden.
Jaden Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Will.
Yeah.
And, we were, yeah.
Was there a girl?
Yeah, there was.
What girl was it?
Her name is Selena.
Selena, go.
So they went to this football game and Selena just happened to be there. What a coincidence. And apologies for the Wendy Williams watermark, but December 9th, 2010, we spot them on a date at IHOP. According to them, though, this was not a date. It was just a friendly outing. Selena said, it was pancakes. Who doesn't like pancakes? And I actually prefer French toast, Selena, but point taken. But basically, she said that they just had concerts in the same city, so they met up, and it was all very innocent. But then in December, these photos come out of, presumably, Justin and Selena kissing. But immediately, Justin's publicist says that's photoshopped. And all the fans breathed a huge sigh of relief and went back to making out with their Justin Bieber posters. On December 23rd, Justin was interviewed by MTV and they asked him about Selena, as everyone was doing at this point, and he said, "She's really cool. She's an amazing person," but he didn't confirm or deny anything, and he said he wanted to keep his private life private. But then these photos come out. These are from December 30th, and obviously they are cozy. At this point, Justin is 16 and Selena is 18, and of course, people went psychotic over this. And truly, I forgot how freaking insane Beliebers were at this time. Like, do y'all remember the person who cut JB I Love You into their arm? That has nothing to do with Justin. It has everything to do with you needing help, as most of us did at that point in time, but still. So that's what Selena was dealing with. So as soon as these photos come out on December 30th of 2010, fans are going absolutely crazy, saying that they're going to off themselves, saying that they're going to hurt her at the mere thought of them dating. And then February 6th of 2011, they are spotted holding hands on Santa Monica Pier. And about a week later, reports come out that Justin allegedly bought Selena trucks and trucks of flowers, which what do you even do with that many flowers? And then February 27th, 2011, they show up at the Vanity Fair Oscar party together. So now they are official in the public eye. I mean, they were definitely a couple. We get all of these photo booth pictures, which are truly precious. And Selena had said in an interview around that time that although she's a private person, she didn't want to feel like she had to hide her relationships or just going out and being a normal person. Also, in this article that I read about the Vanity Fair party, people were using the ship name Jelena for them. I don't remember that. I'm sure I scrubbed it from my mind because that is a hideous name, but let's refrain and keep calling them Jelena. Anyways, March 1st, 2011, Justin turns 17 and they go to a birthday dinner, the two of them, and of course, paparazzi are everywhere. However, in the photos, people spot a red patch on Selena's lip. Now, we might think, it's a pimple, it's a cold sore, but Beliebers jumped straight to a fan punched her, and we're so happy about it. Of course, we found out that those rumors were not true, but the Beliebers were straight up, filled with glee at the thought of her getting punched by a fan. Again, psychotic. And if you were a Belieber at that time, I am truly sorry, but that just means you know exactly what I'm talking about. They were truly rabid at that time. Even if it wasn't you, you know exactly what I'm talking about. March 22nd, 2011, Selena goes back on the Ellen Show to just tell us what we all already obviously knew.
He's sweet.
He's sweet as can be, but he's not like your little brother, is he? No, he's not.
In May, they attended the Billboard Music Awards together. They had a little cute smooch when Justin Bieber got an award. It was all cutesy at that point. So May 23rd, 2011, a string of photos starts to come out of them in Hawaii. And boy, they were not shy. Honestly, I remember seeing these come out and being like, holy shit. So that's what PDA is. And now looking at these photos now, I do feel kind of weird about it because they're so young. But when they first came out, I was super young. So obviously I don't have the same reaction to it as if I was an adult seeing it for the first time. But thinking about the adults of the world at this time, waking up in the morning and the front cover of their news is just a string of photos of teenagers making out. How odd and weird would that be? So of course, the moment that these photos come out, cue more threats for Selena. People were also saying that she was just dating him for fame, blah, 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 jealous fans. However, we did have one supporter in Miss Hailey Baldwin. She was Team Jelena. September 23rd, 2011, we find out that Justin rented out the Staples Center for a date night with him and Selena. Apparently they were there for Demi's concert at the Nokia Theater and there's an underground tunnel. So they took the underground tunnel to the Staples Center where he had a candlelit dinner and they watched the movie The Titanic. Very cute. And I think maybe this is when the tide started to turn with the fans a little bit, where they kind of started to think that they were cute versus just absolutely antagonizing Selena. And also gotta love that throwback Jelena Tumblr. However, the happiness didn't last that long because November 1st, 2011, Mariah Yeater says that Justin is her baby daddy. She said that they met backstage in a concert in October of 2010 and they hooked up, and Justin said, "I don't even know this woman," and that is a complete lie. Nonetheless, rumors started that Jelena was over and that Selena had broken up with him because of these baby daddy rumors. However, I'm pretty sure that that was false. Guess what else was false? Mariah Yeater's claims. November 16th, Mariah Yeater drops the lawsuit First of all, a security guard that was there said that Justin was in the dressing room with his family and his friends the entire night. And her ex also came forward from prison saying that she was lying. And then to add to that, Justin said that he would take a DNA test, and if it came back negative, he would countersue her for making a false claim. So at that point, she decided to pack it up and accept defeat because a DNA test wouldn't lie, and I would not want to be sued by Justin Bieber either. At the 2011 AMAs on November 20th, we see them show up together. They are clearly still together. And of course, they looked adorable together. This is the cutest picture ever. And we get that homemade Call Me Maybe music video, which I think we have all burned into our brains. I have. Between May and July of 2012, there was just constant on and off breakup rumors about them, but they denied them all. And then August 2012, Selena is pictured on set kissing Nat Wolff. This was for parental guidance, and they were in the midst of a scene, so this is just a business kiss. However, the rumors came out that Justin was not very pleased with the photo. In October of 2012, though, he went on Oprah and he talked about Selena. He said, "I don't ever want her to feel like I'm ashamed of her." And he also said that they make a concerted effort to get away from the paparazzi together and not take separate cars to stuff just so they won't be seen together. And about the fan comments, he said, "At the end of the day, I still have to be happy. I can't be single my whole life." And you won't, Justin, don't you worry. So November 7th of 2012, Justin performed at the Victoria's Secret fashion show. And afterwards, he took a picture with Barbara Palvin, which they both tweeted out. Ta-da! And yes, she's a lingerie model. People were going to assume that Selena was jealous anyways, but add to that earlier in the year on a live stream, Barbara Palvin had said that she was not a Selena Gomez fan, which makes it seem at the very least a little bit insensitive for Justin to be getting a photo with her and tweeting it out. However, around this time, Selena was filming with Greg Sulkin for Wizards of Waverly Place a lot and tweeting to him. There was photos of them coming out, so people thought this might be Justin's way of playing a little jealousy game. The next day, though, Justin goes to see The Lion King with a friend, this friend, and also Barbara Palvin. And of course, there are pictures of them showing up together, but also the friend tweeted out this photo, which you can clearly see Barbara's in the back. The picture did get deleted, though, but then it showed up again because Selena tweeted it out the second time with the caption ... So clearly she was pissed, and people got the impression that either they were over or they were publicly beefing over Twitter. And then November 9th, the next day, we get the news that Selena and Justin have broken up. Supposedly it had been about a week, and the reasoning was their crazy schedules that just wouldn't allow dating. And I feel like that's always the excuse, but not saying that it's not sometimes true, but I feel like they just always say that. Other people said that this had been a long time coming and that it had to do with trust issues on Selena's side and jealousy on both of their sides, which we all just publicly saw on the internet. However, 6 days later, we got reports that they were going to a comedy show together, but they just showed up separately so that there wouldn't be a paparazzi frenzy. And the next day, on November 16th, we see them on a date again. However, apparently they left the restaurant after 10 minutes and they did not look happy, which is this photo. And after that, people said that they saw Justin pulled up outside of Selena's front gate and yelling for his girl until paparazzi showed up and he abandoned it because he didn't want to deal with all of that. However, the next morning, Justin's car was in Selena's driveway. Suspicious. So maybe they got back together later that night. The 18th, a couple days later, was the AMAs, and they showed up separately. Here he is with his mom. But then wouldn't you know it, photos come out of them leaving together. And after that, everybody was saying that they were hanging out at the after party the entire time together, and they definitely looked back together. On December 30th, 2012, we find out that Selena and Justin went to Mexico together to celebrate New Year's Eve. However, supposedly while they were there, they had a blowout fight, and then Selena left the next day, and Justin left the day after. March 18th of 2013, Selena goes on Letterman, and she confirms that she is single, and she also makes a joke about making Justin cry. But it was not over. So January through March of 2013, it seemed that Justin and Selena were not together. But then March 27th, we see Justin's entourage pull up to Selena's house. This was when all the battery, smoking, reckless driving stuff was going on, and Justin seemed to be acting out and, quite frankly, struggling. So people weren't really sure if this meant that they were back together, or maybe she was just somebody that was close to him that could help him. But April 3rd, 2013, we get reports that apparently part of the reason that Justin is acting out is because he's really struggling with the Selena breakup and he just doesn't know how to let his emotions out. And then a couple weeks later, Selena is suddenly traveling to Norway where, wouldn't you know it, Justin is performing. Supposedly they were hugging, holding hands, kissing, the whole nine. And the article also said that Justin really wanted to get back together, but Selena was sending mixed signals about it. April 21st, 2013, Justin posts this photo with Selena on Instagram, but then he immediately deletes it, even though we all just saw it and it's on the internet, so it's definitely going to be there forever. Proof in point, here it is. However, a few days later, he comes back to Instagram and doubles down by posting this picture with the caption, "You've been making music for too long, babe. Come cuddle," referencing Selena. On July 4th, a friend of Justin posts from a July 4th party, and Selena is there, so everybody immediately wonders, are they hanging out together? Which we get the answer to the next day. Because the next day, Justin posts another Instagram with Selena and captions it, #Heartbreaker, which was the name of his new song coming out, but that song could also be about Selena. Probably is, so. So people were kind of under the impression that they were back together. However, November 26, 2013, reports come out that Justin is in Australia performing, and he's really enjoying himself in the company of 36 strippers. And that's the mark of a single man, in my opinion. In December, Justin tells us that him and Selena are not currently talking, so off again. However, he did confirm that all that matters is about Selena and that he still loves her. So we're all wondering, do you mean you love her in a friend way? Do you mean you love her as in please come back? And of course, we're all assuming he means please come back, or we're hoping. And sure enough, January 3rd, 2014, we see them segueing around the neighborhood together. And the next day, Justin posts this photo with the caption, "Love the way you look at me." So back together? But the next day, Selena goes to rehab. And her publicist specifically said that it had nothing to do with substance use. So we all speculated that it had everything to do with Justin. And we were right. Apparently she needed some time to let go of Justin and the relationship, and it was also putting a strain on her family relationship because they were not loving that she was continuing to hang out with Justin and basically put herself through emotional turbulence. But she got out mid-January after 2 weeks. Then in February, Justin says in an interview that he is not in the happiest place he's ever been, which that could literally be anything, but he also tells us that Nothing Like Us is about him and Selena. But then early March, Justin posts this photo of Selena on his Instagram with the caption, "Most elegant princess in the world." Literally, it does not get more coupley. And then days later, they're spotted in Texas together where Selena was doing some concerts, and apparently they were really cuddly, kissing together. And then a couple days later, on March 10th, Justin posts on Instagram a video of him and Selena dancing together in a studio, and boy, is it spicy. We all saw that. That is a very clear indication that they are in a relationship again. However, then rumors start that Taylor and Selena are no longer friends at the moment because of Justin. Basically, people were saying that Taylor didn't really like Justin, or at least she didn't like Justin for Selena, who was her best friend. And apparently at this point of them getting back together again, Taylor was just kind of over the toxicity and the back and forth. And I'm sure she had probably told her multiple times to drop this man and just couldn't be in it at the moment. April 13th, 2014 at Coachella, Justin and Selena are definitely there together and definitely back together. Kylie and Kendall were also there with them, and they seem to all be having a fantastic time. However, 10 days later, Selena has unfollowed not only Justin, but also Kendall and Kylie on Instagram. And supposedly there was a huge fight at Coachella where Selena had found text messages on Justin's phone between him and Kylie that kind of were flirty, were sexy, and implied that they had hooked up. Now, did Kylie and Justin hook up while Selena and him were together? I don't know. It's hard to tell with all the on and off, back and forth. But even if it was when they were off, I feel like maybe you should give her a heads up before you hang out with them all weekend at a music festival. But why did she unfollow both sisters if it was just Kylie? Well, supposedly she said that they were a toxic distraction to her career, but there was also rumors that Justin had been flirting with Kendall a lot. But don't cry for Selena, because days later we see her with Orlando Bloom, so the girl is moving on, onwards and upwards. And in the meantime, Justin was flirting through tweets and comments on Instagram with a model named Ashley Moore. In May of 2014, Justin went and got dinner with Hailey Baldwin and Kendall Jenner. And yes, I am using her last name as Baldwin right now for the sake of the story, because we are still in 2014. But all of them left separately, so could just be friends. So then May 20th, 2014, Selena posts this photo on Instagram, and I'm sorry, I have to cover it up because this app doesn't like me to post photos of bikinis. Anyways, the caption was, "Taking my power back," which is such a classic single girl post. We hear your message, loud and clear, Selena. And also in May, we see Justin and Barbara Palvin hanging out again. However, by June 11th, everything has changed, and Justin posts this photo on Instagram with the caption, "Our love is unconditional." July 29th, 2014, Justin sees Orlando Bloom at a restaurant and they get in a physical altercation. Supposedly, Justin had also partied with Miranda Kerr earlier in the year, so they had beef on both sides, but clearly there was still some feelings for Selena. But then in August of 2014, Justin was partying with the Kardashians in Spain, which, first of all, Kendall posted this picture of them, and I'm not feeling the platonic vibe between them in this. But on top of that, people said that they left the party together holding hands. So that's where Justin and Selena stand. But then, not even a month later, on August 28th, we spot Justin and Selena in Ontario together. They also posted on Instagram about this, and now they've both visited each other's hometowns. And then finally, September 12th, 2014, we get confirmation that Justin and Selena are back together. This was actually during Justin's deposition for assaulting a paparazzi. And he was asked about her in a deposition at the beginning of the year, but he just said, "Don't ask me about her again," and got pissed. This time he actually admitted they were dating. And then September, the rumors started flying. Apparently they had moved in together, but she had kept her house, supposedly just in case things didn't work out. And there were even marriage rumors, which seemed kind of silly, but at the time, that was something that people genuinely believed they might do. However, later in September, before Paris Fashion Week, they went on a vacation to St. Martin together. But when they got to the airport to fly to Paris, they looked like they were fighting. And then September 26th, whilst in Paris, Justin is spotted out to dinner with Kendall Jenner. Of course, people said that they had been friends for a long time and this was just platonic, but we were all suspicious, and we can only imagine how Selena felt when she seems to be such a reoccurring flirty figure in his life. And then right after that, there was a party that they all attended where apparently Justin was just neglecting Selena and hanging out with Kendall the entire night. After that, they got in a huge fight and Selena got the hell out of Paris the next day. And funny enough, this is where we get this plain selfie of Selena Gomez and Kris Jenner, which I wonder if Kris knew and was trying to stir up the tea, or if it was just incredibly uncomfortable for Selena. So October 1st, 2014, Selena tweets out, "We have to learn the hard way sometimes." And after this and the Paris stuff, breakup rumors were rampant. Apparently she had already taken her stuff from his apartment. And in November, Selena does an interview about her new song and tells us that The Heart Wants What It Wants is about Justin and that he thought the song was beautiful. And from her description, it definitely seemed like they were broken up, or at least had reached a parting of the ways. In late November, Justin was seen hanging out with Hailey, and he also posted on Instagram with her. Of course, people thought that they were dating immediately, but Justin said that they weren't. He said, "People are crazy. I'm super single, and this is my good friend." Classic line. December 4th, 2014, we catch this snap of him and his good friend Hailey with her legs around him at a studio. Nobody believed that it was platonic at this point. And then Selena spent New Year's with Gigi and Kendall. And apparently Hailey was not invited, although she didn't care because she was spending it with Justin, supposedly. In 2015, they were both definitely dating other people. Selena was dating Zed. We saw them together starting in January. And Justin was rumored to be dating a lot of people, including Kourtney Kardashian. And in March, we saw him at a Clippers game with Ashley Moore again. That's the model he was flirting with in 2014 over social media. But July 2015, Selena confirmed that her and Zed had been seeing each other. Emphasis on the past tense there. In September, she said, "I don't know," in response to a question about her and Justin getting back together, which to me, all I'm hearing is that is not a no. And also in September, Justin's nude came out, which is how we figured out that he was talking to a model named Jade Pierce. And in November, Justin talks about his new album, confirmed that 3 of the songs were about Selena, and said that he's not sure if he's over her yet. And he talked about an unreleased song that he had made that was called "If I Had Met You in 5 Years." Wow. We also get this quote from him about him and Selena. "I'm never going to stop loving her. I'm never going to stop checking in on her. I don't think if you end a relationship, you should end that, unless it was super toxic." And that's not how you would describe the roller coaster that we all just went on, Justin. Justin also appeared on Ellen in November of 2015 and said maybe to them getting back together. And he said that they have a lot of history and they were taking time for their own journeys, but they could come back together. He also implied, though, in another interview that he had cheated on Selena. He said, "It's like trust and all this other stuff that starts messing with your mind. You're on the road and there are beautiful women on the road and you're just getting yourself into trouble." So maybe that's why it wasn't working. I mean, between the Jenners, Hailey, and other girls on the road, I think I'd be done, man. But Selena wasn't. November 21st, 2015, we see Selena and Justin in a hotel bar, and he serenades her with "My Girl." I cannot make this up. And there was a whole hotel there to witness it. So look me in the eyes right now and tell me they're not back together after what you're about to see. I know that video was dark, but come on. We also saw them leaving together and they weren't holding hands, but there was a lower back touch, which at that point, everyone was just ready to grab onto anything. So we grabbed onto that. And we also found out that they were apparently trying to get themselves seated next to each other for the AMAs. And then December 1st, Justin posted a picture of them on a four-wheeler together. However, he hastily captioned it, "Just a throwback, calm down," after people were absolutely the opposite of calm. But then January 4th, 2016, Justin posts a photo of him and Hailey kissing. And then he does an interview and reveals quite a lot. So first of all, he said that him and Selena were not together. And apparently this interview was actually done in December, even though it came out in January. So I guess the four-wheeler pic was just a TBT after all. But he also made like a jealous comment about the dude in Selena's latest music video. But his quote was, "We were like, maybe we'll come back together in the future. And then it ended up being so long and we just grew apart and we're not the same people anymore." He also confirmed that he was dating Hailey. And on his relationship with Kourtney Kardashian, he said, "I'm being used, man. What can I say?" Shit, just a pawn in the game, Justin. How does it feel? However, around January 20th, rumors start coming out that Hailey and Justin are now on a break because he didn't really want to commit before he goes on tour. Meanwhile, February 3rd, Selena is in W Magazine and she says that she is exhausted and so done, which I think at this point of the series, we can all admit that it does seem pretty exhausting. Justin also did a GQ interview in February where he talked about a tattoo of Selena that he tried to cover up but kind of failed at and referred to her as his ex, so definitely still not together. This is also when he said, "What if Hailey ends up being the girl I'm going to marry, right? If I rush into anything, if I damage her, then it's always going to be damaged. It's really hard to fix wounds like that. It's so hard. I just don't want to hurt her." Sounds like he may have learned some lessons from his relationship with Selena. But at the same time, Selena was also rumored to be dating a new guy, so it seemed like they were just going their separate ways. But then March 19th, Justin goes on Instagram and posts this photo with the caption, "Feels." Interesting move, Justin. And Selena hits back with a comment that said, "Perfect." So we are all very confused at this point. March 23rd, Selena shows up to Justin's concert. Maybe it's just me, but I wouldn't be showing up to an ex's concert. And supposedly Justin was also planning on doing a recreation of their Staples Center date where they watched the Titanic and did a candlelit dinner, but the plans fell through. The people around him said that he was in a bad mood all day, that he canceled his meet and greet, that he didn't even seem to be having a good time performing, but it's unclear which came first, the cancellation or the bad mood. However, the sources did say that he was clearly trying to get her back. And March 25th, reports come out that Hailey is devastated because Justin is trying to make it work with Selena again, so it seems like they're back on. However, April 3rd, the iHeartRadio Music Awards come out, and allegedly Justin took Hailey, but was trying to keep it hush-hush because he didn't want Selena to find out, which she obviously did and was pissed. On April 12th, though, Hailey did confirm our rumors from January by saying that they were not exclusive because he was about to go on tour. And then May 8th, 2016, Selena's at a concert and a fan has a note that says, "Marry Justin, please." And she takes it and she crumples it up and she throws it on the ground. And then August 2016, there is a whole Instagram debacle. So Justin was dating Sophia Richie at this point, and he was about to leave Instagram. He posted saying that if people couldn't be nice about their relationship, then he was deactivating. But then Selena commented back and said, If you can't handle the hate, then stop posting pictures of your girlfriend, LOL. It should be special between you two only. Don't be mad at your fans. They love you and supported you before anyone ever did. And I get that his fans support him, but I do think he had a right to be upset. And honestly, if you're a real fan, you should be respectful of whatever they're doing. But it seemed like Selena, at least, wanted him to stop posting pictures with his new girlfriend. Well, Justin responded to that comment and said, "It's funny to see people that use me for attention and still try to point the finger this way. Sad. All love." I truly don't really know how that fits in the context of what they were talking about, but go off, Justin. However, then Selena responded right back. We were getting a full-on feud. And she said, "Funny how the ones that cheated multiple times are pointing the finger at the ones that were forgiving and supportive. No wonder fans are mad. Sad. All love." And then Justin replied and said, "I cheated? Oh, I forgot about you and Zayn." Which, holy shit, just dropped that bomb on us, I guess, Justin. After that, though, Justin did deactivate his Instagram, and Selena apologized for it on her Snapchat story. And Justin and Sophia Richie ended up breaking up in September, so it was short-lived. 2017, they still aren't dating. Selena's dating The Weeknd, which, do we think that that was just for publicity, or I don't know. February 28th, Justin was seen with Ashley Moore on a hike, and they were holding hands. Why do I feel like he just recycles the same girls over and over again? Other than that, though, he mostly just had dating rumors and like random pictures of him with various girls. In August, there was rumors that Justin was reaching out to Selena, but she was not responding to him. But then in October, Selena and Justin were spotted pulling up to the same house, so maybe they're hanging out. Suspicious. And then just a few days later, on October 29th, who do we see her out again with but Justin? They got breakfast, they were biking, they even went to church together, which I feel like is a very intimate thing to do with someone. And the rumors from the sources, from the tabloids, were saying that he was trying to regain her trust so they can get back together. And supposedly these were not the only outings, they were just the only public outings we saw, and they were actually going on more dates in private. And the next day, on October 30th, we get confirmation that Selena and The Weeknd are officially done, which we kind of figured from her hanging out with her ex. And sure enough, the next day, Selena shows up to Justin's hockey game wearing his jersey. Give me a damn break. It is very clearly back on now. And just in case we needed any more confirmation, 2 weeks later, she's at his hockey game again, and they're smooching. But in December, Selena and her family were rumored to be fighting about Justin. Supposedly her mom didn't really like him, which is a huge red flag. But really, it was just that her entire family didn't really trust him anymore, which was causing a rift between them because Selena really wanted them to accept him again. And there were also reports at this time that Selena and Justin were also in couples therapy. Why? Well, because apparently he wanted to reach out to Haley and clear the air between them. Now, I'm not sure if this is the same therapy that we're talking about or if this was in addition to the therapy, but there were also reports that they were getting advice and counseling from Carl Lentz, who's the head of Hillsong, which is their church. Hillsong is a whole big thing, and honestly, I could do an entire series about the rise of hip evangelical churches, but now is not the time. In January of 2018, Selena goes to rehab again, and this was supposedly because of mental and emotional strain, not necessarily involving Justin, although there was substance use rumors. But she went for a couple weeks and got out in February. On Valentine's Day, they were spotted together, and they were once again attending church. And also in February, they went to Justin's dad's wedding together, which was in Jamaica. And I know traveling isn't as big of a deal for celebrities, but still seems like a big step. And then February 28th, once again, we see them at church, but this time they arrived and left separately. And that's when it came out that they were never 100% fully back together and they were taking a step back to just chill. The report said that they weren't getting along, but that they'd probably get back together soon. Then March 1st, Selena posted for Justin's birthday on Instagram and said, "March 1st, 1994, someone I know that happens to be super cool was born. Boom." Which gives me very much Demi and Selena on YouTube vibes, if you know what I mean. Supposedly, they still weren't exclusive necessarily, though. And then March 7th, we find out that they are on a break. The report was that they were having a lot of little disagreements recently, and one fight in particular blew up and caused them to decide to break up. But they were still talking and wanted to be together. Some reports said that it was partly because Selena's family was not fully on board with Justin anymore. And I saw another one that claimed that the fight was stemming from his birthday when she wanted to do something low-key and chill with him, and he invited a bunch of friends to do like go-karting or something. And other people said that they were just overwhelmed by all the attention on them at the moment, but everybody seemed to be very confident that they would get back together very soon. And at this point, I think we all were, because we'd seen this happen multiple times before. But after that, Selena flew back to Texas for a bit. March 20th, Justin was seen with this model named Baskin Champion, which made us think that maybe they were off again for not just a week, but maybe a little bit more than that. But again, we have seen this kind of stuff happen before. We've watched this whole series. This isn't anything new. And then March 27th, the break rumors changed to breakup rumors. And at this point, we're pretty sure that they're true. In June of 2018, Justin started dating Hailey. And Selena was also rumored to be dating an Italian producer, so it seemed like they were both just kind of trying to move on. In the case of Justin and Hailey, though, supposedly they'd always been into each other, but now they're trying dating again. Of course, as you can probably imagine, Hailey was treating this with caution and was a little bit hesitant because she, like everybody else, had seen this timeline play out in real time. But we saw them in Miami in hot tubs, hanging out in the city, going to church, out to dinner, going to clubs, really everywhere together. And the reports also said that he had no contact with Selena at the time, which honestly is probably healthy. And then July 10th, Hailey and Justin are engaged. Guess Jelena is done. Definitely not coming back now. At the same time, you can just imagine what both Hailey and Selena's comment sections looked like at this point. It was just hate, constant references to Justin, craziness. And then September 2018, Justin and Hailey get married, which, wow, that was quick. And of course, hate started flooding in for Hailey. And Justin even wrote back to one person and said that he loves Selena, but that Hailey is his wife, he's head over heels for her, and that she's the best thing that's ever happened to him. So right after Justin and Hailey get married, Selena says that she's taking a break from social media due to all the negativity. And in October, Selena was having a lot of health issues, and that mixed with her ex getting married within months of their breakup kind of sent her spiraling, and she checked into rehab. And right after that news broke, we got the pictures of Justin crying in his car about it. And obviously, I think he was probably worried about her. I mean, they have a lot of history, but there may have also been a little bit of guilt behind it. In April of 2019, Hailey was still getting tons of comments about how she was imitating Selena, Justin was gonna leave her for Selena, etc., etc., etc. And it's really funny how these Beliebers who initially shat on Selena are now 100% Team Selena and hate Hailey. Anyways, she responded to one comment and said, "We're adults that have better things to do than waste time explaining something just so you can stop your delusional fantasies. I'm not going to sit here and let obsessive strangers try to tell me about my own husband. You want to talk about somebody's husband? Then get your own. Good night." All right, go off, Hailey. And honestly, I don't know why anybody even brings Hailey into it when it's Justin and Selena's relationship, and even if there was cheating, Justin is the one who owed Selena loyalty, not Hailey. That being said, no cheating in this triangle has ever been 100% confirmed, so we really don't know. October 2019, Selena released Lose You to Love Me, which was very clearly about Justin. And some people took that as an opportunity to go off on Hailey again, which Selena shut down promptly, which was the right thing to do. In January of 2020, Selena did an interview with NPR where she talked about the relationship, and she said, "I didn't get a respectful closure," and she also said that she was the victim of emotional abuse, and that she was trying to work through all of that in her adulthood now. And all through 2020, Hailey continued to get comments, but Justin and Hailey both just kind of shut them down and were like, what does that even achieve? What does it achieve to hate on her? Literally nothing. And September 13th, 2021, still in 2021, at the Met Gala, a bunch of people started chanting Selena at Hailey and Justin, which Hailey was obviously upset by. You could see that she was starting to cry, and Justin said, don't cry, and then she put on sunglasses. Honestly, these people, that is so out of line and unnecessary. But I think that brings us pretty up to date on the Justin and Selena situation. They're all mature adults now. They haven't dated in quite some time. He's married, and I wish them all the happiness in the world. But I really hope that y'all enjoyed this, and as always, thank y'all for supporting me. I love y'all, and y'all are the best. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment any additions you might have or any thoughts or opinions. I'd love to hear them, as well as any series suggestions or new video suggestions in general. And if you want to see more of me and more of my series, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you next week with another one.